You're scratching an itch that is living dormant. And when you do it, oh, hello. Hello, little rock pigeon. Hey, how's it going? So I just got back from the beach. We've been gone for the past week on a family vacation, and it's been great. We left after Father's Day, and while we were at the beach, having some nice quality family time, I went down to the beach early one morning before the kids woke up, and I wanted to record a video with the intent of talking about how we had just butchered a bunch of backyard meat chickens and how much that supplements our groceries in conjunction with the wild game we try to fill our freezers with in the fall and winter. Oh, well, hello there. As you can see, I'm coming at you from the banks of the Ohio River. Boy, is she a beauty. Hi, I'm Ricky with Good Taxidermy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a good Father's Day last week. And I started thinking, if more hunters could do this, or even just broaden the species that you hunt, how much we can combat these high grocery prices just with our hobby, just with this thing we love to do. And that was the intent. That's what I'd woke up, and that's what I had notes on, and that's what I was going to make a video about. And that is not what happened. I hope you had a good Father's Day. If you're a dad, happy Father's Day. I hope last weekend was great for you. With that being said, my Father's Day, we still had some chores to do. One of those chores was butchering our chickens. If you've watched this channel very long at all, you've probably seen videos of our chickens. The white ones, those are Cornish crosses. Those are meat. That's a meat breed. And they were well past due for being processed. And me and my wife and kids, we did that on Father's Day. And it was at times hilarious, at times sad. I mean, it's just what an experience to have with your young family. I had set up my chair, my microphone, and my camera, and all morning long, I just kept getting approached by people. The whole time I'm trying to film, people would stop me, ask me what I'm doing, ask me who I am, ask me what I'm talking about. And as soon as they would hear hunting or taxidermy, they would immediately start unloading on me about how wrong and how evil and how cruel it all is. Ended up having a lot of really great conversations. As soon as people would see taxidermy on my hat, I was wearing this hat. As soon as they would see that, you could see it just flip a switch. So I had a lot of those conversations, but the very first one was an older couple, and they were super sweet and absolute sweethearts. I'm glad I got to meet them. They were very respectful. No, I'm just reading some notes, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, turn around and let the camera see it.
Oh, okay, there's the book. Follow the White Blazes by Eagle Trail Dancer.
You heard him, folks. We just met some new friends. Guy hiked the Appalachian Trail and wrote a book about it. So he immediately told me he wrote a book and told me that he hiked the Appalachian Trail and told me what his book was about and all this stuff. And then he asked me if I wanted to know his thoughts on hunting, to which I thought, no, I don't care what your thoughts are on hunting. But I'm a gentleman, and so I said, sure, yes, what are your thoughts? And he told me that he wouldn't hunt or fish unless his family was absolutely starving to death. And he went on to tell me about, hiking the Appalachian Trail. He just sees all this wildlife and he appreciates it. And, he loves to observe nature and all this stuff. And I get it. I do too. I've hiked portions of the Appalachian Trail. I love all that stuff. I think that's very cool. And I told him as much. But I also said, however, none of that benefits any of the wildlife that you appreciate. None of that benefits it. What does benefit it, hunting license and tag dollars going to protect that habitat, going to improve access for the public. All those things, all these new trail systems, all this kind of stuff is funded by hunting and fishing. So I think seeing that and experiencing that at a young age is very healthy. And, some people have been like, oh, I can't believe you let your kids participate in that. Well, outside of the last 2 or 3 generations, for thousands of years, every generation did stuff like that as a family. You're probably wondering, Ricky, why are you talking about all this on this channel? Well, I think it's a full circle deal that hunters can tap into. We have a built-in cheat code, a built-in life hack for these high grocery bills. I'm complaining about grocery bills. Everybody complains about grocery bills. Well, you can buy meat in the grocery store. Why would I hunt? That's so cruel. By the way, bizarre take. A lot of people have that take. A lot of older folks at the beach, much older than me, said, why would you go hunting when you can go to the grocery store? The generational disconnect to like industrial farming and all that stuff's unbelievable to me, but whatever. If you feel justified, go for it. But I think that if you can raise a chicken to live its happiest life in my backyard, and then it has one bad, like 30 seconds at the end of its life, has got to be better than buying meat from Walmart, which I do. And I'm not saying that, I understand we live in a world where you have to be practical, but I do think that there's an opportunity for us as hunters to be self-sufficient when it comes to meat. But we have a hobby where if you do it right, at the end of the day, I don't want to say do it right, but if you have a successful hunt, at the end of the day, you're going to have a truck bed full of steaks. And there's not a lot of hobbies that you can do that. I mean, yeah, okay, fishing, mushroom hunting, stuff like that. But I put all those guys in with us. I think they're all in our camp. If hunters would just buy a handful of backyard chickens, if you kill a deer or 3 a year, and you butcher a mess of chickens or 2 a summer, you're gonna take care of a huge portion of your family's meat needs. And everybody's family has meat needs. That's odd. That's an odd thing to say. Hunting and raising animals and butchering them yourself scratches a primal itch that we all have. Whether you're a vegetarian, whether you live in the country, live in the city, you're scratching an itch that is living dormant. And when you do it, oh, hello. Hello, little rock pigeon. If this was the Bahamas, there'd be a little hut behind me, and there wouldn't be any of these pigeons. But there'd be a hut with delicious barbecued chicken breasts. Very small ones behind me, but you wouldn't have any pigeons. I know not everybody can afford to go to their local farmer and buy a cow or a half a beef or a quarter beef, fill their freezer up. If you can, that's great. And I try to do that, and I encourage people to do that, obviously. But what you can't afford is a hunting license. And your state makes a regulation book, and it tells you how many of each of these critters you're allowed to legally kill. And as long as you follow that, then a game ward's not going to come to your house. And at the same time, you can fill your freezer up. Doves, rabbits, turkeys, deer for red meat, waterfowl. I mean, ducks are phenomenal. Wood ducks, mallards, teal. These are killer birds to eat. They're tasty, super tasty critters. Geese, of course, are strictly jerky only. I say all that to say, let's combat these grocery prices with what we already do, with hunting. This year, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and fill the freezer. And I think that gentleman left that conversation truly with a new respect and appreciation for it. And he told me as much. And he told me that he appreciated my perspective, the thoughtfulness. I think people are often surprised how thoughtful hunters are about what we do. And that kind of blows my mind, really, because the most thoughtful people about wildlife I have found are hunters. Hunters care more about the resource than 99% of the general public. You can tell my headspace, I was definitely in the thought of hunting is important and here's the benefits it can bring to you. I think we take for granted so much that a huge part of why we hunt is for food, is for meat. And I know a lot of people, they're just hunting for fun. And you're chasing big horns, and I respect that, brother. I really do. But I just want to ask for you to take a step back and also consider the meals that deer is going to give you afterwards, and your family. And if you can talk your family into buying into that and eating wild game meat, that opens up your hunting opportunities wildly. And I don't think guys realize that. A lot of guys are like, oh, I'm going to hunt when I want. I don't care. I'm going to, whatever. My friend, if you can feed your wife a delicious steak meal, I'm going to top that. If you can come home from hunting with a pickup truck bed full of steaks, your wife will be much more apt to be agreeable the next time you want to hunt. We're not golfing, boys. We're not playing pickleball. We're hunting. And if we do a good job, I'll reiterate, we bring home a truck bed of steaks. Antlers are cool, taxidermy's cool, but feeding your family for like a month of just venison after you kill a big deer, that is an enormous reward. And if you've not contemplated that, or if you've not experienced that, try it. We're at the beach, and every meal we eat is about 3 times as much as you think it should cost. And I can't help but dream about that deep freezer at home, plumb full of chicken, And I know it's not free, but it's very close to free in comparison to what I'm eating this week. Well, guys, thank you so much for putting up with the musings of a redneck from the beach. I really appreciate it. It's getting about time for my kids to wake up, so I'm going to head back in. But have a great week. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you watching. Cheers.